everybody, welcome to this week's Ghetto vlog. Now we're kicking straight off from where we left last week. What you've just seen is me trying to create space here in the 3.0 because, as I say, if you watched last week, you will know we've got huge plans. This whole half of the games room is being completely overhauled, changing everything that you can see pretty much apart from the majority of the TV wall. And as a result, I'm inevitably going to IKEA and I'm inevitably going to be buying some big Billies, some Williams. So I need space. These Williams are, what, 6.5 towards 7 foot. So yeah, they take a lot of space to build the things. And at the moment, I just don't have the floor space. I've tried moving things around, but I'm gonna have to accept defeat. I think I'm gonna have to get the sofa out of here. It's a pain in the backside. It's very heavy, especially trying to do it on your own. But it'll be worth it because once it's gone, it's gonna make my life a lot easier with all the changes that we have planned in here. So yeah, I'm gonna get the sofa taken out and then we should have enough space so we can really address exactly what we're going to do. I need to make sure I've got plans definitively in my mind so I know how many things I'm buying from IKEA and what I'm buying from IKEA. So yeah, that's very much the task at hand. Let's crack on. Right, slight change of plan. I've decided to leave this heavy, cumbersome part of the sofa in here. I've taken the backs off so that I can push it right up against the wall. And what I've done is I've taken the Super Nintendo table out, the half Billies, a few other things have been put into the house. Time is of the essence. For some reason, and I don't really know why, Mrs. RG isn't happy at having half a Kratos and a SNES table in the front room. I know, right? Go figure. So yeah, time is of the essence in many ways. Because once Mini G's home from nursery, that little feral, yeah, he's going to be breaking everything he can. So, it's sort of decision time for me. In an ideal world, I'd have plenty of time to completely remove all of this, pull the TV unit out, remove this section here, and then use those half Billies to sort of map it out, see exactly how I want it, and then make the relevant purchasing decisions at IKEA, basically how many full-size Williams I end up buying. But because time is of the essence, and also driven by the fact I would like to get to IKEA in time for a breakfast, if I'm being honest, I think what I'm gonna do is fly to IKEA, buy 2 full Williams, and then sort of work on this and go from there. Down the line, if I decide I need another William, then I can always go back to IKEA. There's no rush. I don't have the space to make 3 big Williams and there's loads of cardboard and yeah, this isn't an overnight project, right? There's a lot of work that's going to be involved with this, so it's fine. And I don't mind having an IKEA breakfast twice in 1 week if needs be. So that I think is the plan. We're going to fly to IKEA. But the reason I'm not committed, just for those of you that probably didn't see the end of last week's vlog, in terms of like, I can fit 3.5 full Williams here. The reason I'm not committing to doing that right now is I'm gonna see if Kratos will fit in this corner. I've discussed slightly moving the Kallax down a bit, TV down a bit. Sofa's now gonna sit in here, for those of you that don't know. I also have taken the radiator off the wall. That's gonna go here, I think. It just makes sense to have it by my sofa, and this is going to be a bit of dead space here anyway at the foot end of player 2's feet. So yeah, that is pretty much where we're at. If I'm talking at 1,000,000 miles an hour, it's because that's how fast my brain's working right now. I have so many creative ideas, but equally I've got to start locking in and making some big decisions. But yeah, with the radiator gone, when we get back, we're going to remove the TV. Then we're going to completely take the Sega wall down, so remove all of those games and remove this corner so that we can start getting the TV and the SNES table into position and then sort of see if Kratos will go in, etc, etc, and basically just see if it'll work with a 3rd full William going in there. Take a deep breath, let's go to IKEA. Well, that is definitely not Yorkshire. Okay, a nice couple of minutes to just slow it down a bit,
this past few weeks has been crazy, and it's only going to get more crazy. I've alluded to it before, but I've got something huge coming to the channel before the end of the year, and I'm trying to get ahead with content, so I'm doing like loads of videos, spinning a lot of plates at once, and then on top of that, to sort of like be doing this big DIY project. It's probably not the smartest of ideas, but it's just a real passion project. I'm so enthused by what the 3.0 is going to become. It's going to take its final form, I think, like the ultimate, the evolution, right? We're going to see Magikarp's going to become Gyarados. So yeah, I'm really spurred on by that, and that's what's driving me at the moment. So we're just going to grab a couple of big billies whilst we're here, and then we're going to go to a couple of local CXs on the way. We might as well while we're down here. I've got a couple of things I need to film for other videos, as I say, that I'm working on, that you guys will see in the future. But yeah, I'm enjoying this little respite. I'm drinking this PG Tips. But yeah, let's get the big billies and let's crack on.
Back in the 3.0. I did go to a couple of CXs on the way home. I got a nice find, actually. I'll show you that shortly. But right now we've got more pressing issues. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is take off this monitor, take off the radiator fixings, and just generally clear this area a bit more. So, eventually got the monitor off the wall, as well as the fixings for the radiator, and now we turn our attention to the remains of the Sega wall. It's time for me to take all these down. I don't know where they're going to go. That's the problem. There's so many games just stacked up everywhere in this room right now that it's hard to find somewhere that hasn't got games to put all these games, but very much first world problems. But yeah, we'll come to that in a moment. Let's just get it all off the wall, get it all stripped, and then we can sort of start the fun bit, really, of reassembling and getting an idea of what the room's going to look like going forwards. Good morning, cow.
It's the next morning, so we ran out of time last night, but we got to a nice point. So all the games are off the wall. We've got a clearish wall to work with. I'm going to take off all those Mosslander shelves next. But before that, I wanted to show you what I picked up at CEX yesterday. So for just £4, there's no way I was leaving this behind. And this is the special edition of Final Fantasy 15. So I think this was the 2016 action RPG, and obviously the
16th entry in the mainline series. Now, it's a really nice steelbook actually. Very nice indeed, and then it's got all kinds of downloadable codes in here and season passes and all that good stuff. But yeah, a steelbook with the matching sleeve cover for £4. There's no way I was going to be leaving that behind, so I think that was a decent find out in the wild. So with that, well, there's actually a couple more parcels coming. I'm hoping they're going to be here today, like real nice stuff. So I'll be showing you guys those, but all attention this week is firmly on the 3.0. So we've got a whole day now. I've cleared my diary. I just want to smash it today. So first job, let's get these shelves taken down. Well, that was taking way too long. All right, that's done. And the beauty of filling this wall with Billies or Kratoses or whatever we decide to put here, I don't really have to worry too much about this. Now, I filled the holes because obviously I don't want a wall full of holes, but I don't have to worry about the long, tedious job of sanding it, painting it again. A whole day's work of making this wall look good. Future me might be annoyed at current me if I ever decide I want this wall on show, but for now, yeah, we're going to save a lot of time by not having to make this wall look perfect. Holes are filled, it's going to get covered anyway. I don't think it's the best use of my time. Best use of my time right now is clearing out this corner once I finish my tea. And then we're going to try and get Kratos stood up in this corner once I've moved the TV, removed the CD player, the vinyls. I'm hoping to keep the CD player in here somewhere where I'm not yet sure. And then say we're going to move all this section slightly down, just a couple of inches, and just see if we can get Kratos in this corner here. I am going to have to paint this wall, however, because this wall is now going to be on show. So all these sort of marks, I'm not having that there. We'll paint that. But as I say, there's a few things I want to get done with this wall anyway. I'm probably going to end up putting the radiator there. We're going to run a shelf across here, but that's all for another day. We've got enough on our hands right now. But yeah, let's get all this stuff moved. So as I was moving this behemoth of a TV out from where it was, I found a load of cool stuff that has just been stored behind it over time. Remember these? I never actually opened this until now. I didn't even realise it said gym. So a while back, a viewer kindly sent me these, like Metalworks, Retro Ghetto logos. I've got one that I keep on my keys actually, like a small one as a key ring. But that's really cool, isn't it? Look at that. So yeah, I think we'll have to put that in the Ghetto gym at some point. And there's another one here as well. Is that gym as well? That says 3.0. Oh, how cool that is. So we made one for the 3.0 and one for the gym. So yeah, I'm glad I found them. So we'll put them there. Hopefully we'll find a place for them. The old Def Jam Vendetta, that was an official poster that used to be on the back door, where we now have the Red Dead Undead Nightmare one. And what else have we got down here? So there was this, which was like an original prototype of the Mega Drive sign, and this. So we've got a proper retro Ghetto sign. Look how cool that is. Never utilised it because I've got the light up one down there. These might be done as a future giveaway. Let me know in the comments if you'd be interested in either a one-off retro Ghetto sign or a Mega Drive sign. And maybe in the future we'll look to potentially do a giveaway or do something for the charity. Speaking of the charity, by the way, a massive shout out to the Ghetto Gang, the fantastic stuff that people are doing over there. We've now raised over £5,000 for Alzheimer's Research UK. Staggering. It's just, yeah, amazing stuff. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all the cool stuff from down here. So yeah, now we just need to move this stuff, and there's a load more cool stuff down here actually. Yeah, I try and avoid looking at Mario because it hurts me because of the damage. I am going to get that fixed, and then we're going to try and get it put into the room. It's so cool. I always said at the time, right, that I'd never seen one of these before, and I was trying to establish if it was a promo piece or if someone had made a high-end model of it or whatever. Somebody actually sent me a link to a high-end collector's Instagram. There was like a live feed or some screenshots or something from memory, and there was one of these in the background. So it would say to me that this is an official Nintendo store display promotion type piece somewhere along the line. I've got to get that fixed, and then yeah, we really need to get this displayed once we've got the new layout in the 3.0 setup. That's way too cool to be sat there. I'd imagine it's highly valuable, right? Nintendo store display promo, never seen, nobody owns one. Well, next to nobody. So yeah, that needs to get displayed. And then there's just a load of other random stuff and Lego and stuff down there as well. But yeah, let's crack on, let's get this moved. As you can see, CD player, record player have gone. I did find a couple more bits actually that are pretty cool whilst I was doing that. First of all, this 50th anniversary of hip hop Naz Special Edition Hennessy, that's still 3/4 full as well, so that was a nice find. And also this, I do have a plan. I've just never had the space, but there is a plan for this. We'll hopefully get to that in a future video. Hopefully once this wall's covered in billies, I'll have the space to do a few projects that I've never really had the space to do before. Also, some paracetamol. When you've got 2 young kids, that is arguably the find of the day. Right. All that's left for me to do now then is tidy this lot up, get it all put away, try and keep the room relatively clean and clear, hoover up, clean up, and then we can start to see exactly what we're going to do with this corner. So I've got this area polished, hoovered, and as clear as I can currently get it. Now, there is a nice slight issue. I can't move the Kallax a few inches as I planned. The reason being is I forgot. This Kallax is like cut out in the back to the inch. For my plug sockets, my Ethernet cable, etc. So you can't move this. And in a way, it doesn't want to be moved anyway because it's bang in the center of the room. It's center aligned. I've got this connected to the wall in the center. My sofa's going to be right here in the center. So it's not the end of the world that I can't move it a few inches. It's just, it might inhibit the potential of Kratos going in what is a small gap. I'm starting to think Kratos isn't going to be able to go in this corner, but I've got to try it. I honestly can't believe how well Kratos has gone into that corner. I'd never really thought this was doable. It might just be. So I've obviously had to make some changes here because the speaker was right up to here, and obviously his hand's there. We'll figure out the axe later down the line. So I've had to obviously slightly move PlayStation. Obviously we'll sort all this out at a later point, but I mean, he's gone in pretty well, let's be honest. And I reckon I could, if that's the half Billy, because I remember I could fit 3.5 full Williams in here. So if he's approximately, I'd say, what, the width of a half? Could we still get 3 full Billies in? I reckon we probably could. Obviously, the TV might have to go in front of him. That might work, right? So we might just have to put the CRT in front of Kratos, but at least he's here. At least he's in the room. Yeah, I'm very pleasantly surprised at that. Obviously, once everything's tidied up and cleaned up, it'll look a million times better. Boy. Now, as good as Kratos looks in the corner, the issue is now the CRT. It doesn't look good there. It just kind of looks like it's plonked in the middle of the room. It's restricting access to this. It leaves an unsightly gap. You've also got an even enough gap here to get the Williams in. And so, yeah, it has created another headache, but that's inevitable. I don't know whether to just completely fill this with Billies all the way to the end and then bring Kratos out a bit. But then, will that look good? Also, doesn't solve the problem of the CRT. I have got a smaller CRT. I've got a Bang & Olufsen MX4000. It's nice. It's white. It would suit the room. As much as I love this TV, is it time to accept it's too big to have in here now? I don't know. Could I move something to here? I'm going to have this space here. There's a lot of potentials, and it's hard to know right now because we're still in the midst of it all. I think at this point, the best thing I can do is get one of the Billies built, bring it in, and then we'll have a better understanding of exactly where we're at and yeah, how it's all going to look and work. Units built, units in place, and my God, it looks good. I can start to see it now, right? With the 360 kiosk wedged perfectly there. Just this whole run. At the end of last week's vlog, I spoke about how rather than having bunches of games like this, we can like literally run them all the way down and have that continuity. But not just games, right? The Lego minifigures, they can now run whoosh, right down there. Man, this is going to be so good. I suppose I should build the other one. But before that, the postman has been... I know what both of these are, I think. And I got a couple of nice packages in here. So, we'll get into this one first. There is a note. Hi Callum, a small token of my appreciation for your videos and hard work. I hope you can pair this up with your copy of X game and add it to the 3.0 Switch collection. Enjoy. Cheers, Steve, aka 8-Bit Stevo. 8-Bit Stevo is a mainstay over on the Ghetto Gang Discord, all around top guy. I think basically he's trying to reduce the size of his collection to fit it on his allocated Billy bookshelves. So what he did was he took his game out of this beautiful piece of cardboard. He knows I want this piece of cardboard. He knows I have the game. So it all kind of came together perfectly. But it is much appreciated, Stevo, my friend. And that is, what I've got to say, it's one of my favourite games of recent times, by the way. Andro Dunos 2. So if you've been watching the channel, it's probably been the best part of 2 years ago now. Time flies, right? Since I was playing through this game, absolutely loved it. You hear the music from this game on pretty much every video I've ever put out since. There's everything about this game. People say to me all the time, oh, where should I start with shmups? This is like entry-level shmup. It's difficult, it's challenging, but it's got enough sort of like modern amenities, if you like. It's not like old school hard. It's definitely doable, but yeah, I had such a good time with this one. So as I say, got this beautiful piece of cardboard. This was a limited edition, yeah, 2000. This is 1,323 of 2000, and it comes with this beautiful steelbook as well. I've actually been playing a bit of Andro Dunos on the Astro City cab. I've got this built into the sort of like ROMs that I've got built into it at the moment. And that's fun as well, but not a patch on this. Now, I already own this on the PlayStation 4. I'm already lucky enough to have this limited edition Pixel Heart release on the PS4. But with the game this good, I'm more than happy to double dip. So once again, massive, massive shout out to Stevo for that. And hopefully it won't be too long now before not only do we get this sort of like the room laid out, but a big part of the appeal of that for me is putting these games away. There's like behind here that you can't see, there's mountains of games that just need putting away properly, but there's just no point in doing it now. There's no point in having one of our gaming room montages because it'll all end up getting moved again. It just doesn't make any sense to do it. So yeah, anyway, speaking of the fantastic people over at the Ghetto Gang, I also know what this is, but right, I thought there might be something extra in here because this is a way too big a box for what I thought my friend Grant was sending me. Grant, another mainstay on the Discord, and yeah, just another great guy. So he has, I don't know what it's called, but a lot of people on there that are more knowledgeable these things than myself, they will get things in from Japan or China, and they'll sort of like have a freight forwarder. So you buy a few things, you wait until you've got X amount of stuff, and then you have it sent over in one go once you've got a sizable amount. And then he added this to it for me as a gift, which was very, very kind of him. I have since made a donation to the Ghetto Gang charity for the Alzheimer's Research UK, just to thank him, because he wouldn't accept any money, so yeah, I put it into the charity. And that is something which I was really struggling to get a hold of here in the UK. It just looks great. And it is Astro City related. Where is it? Get it out of the bag. Yes. So this is a Sega 5380 key. And this is basically the key that's needed to lock and unlock the sort of like big service door on the arcade machine. At the moment, I've got it like wedged shut with a piece of paper. So yeah, like I say, these are hard to track down in the UK. Every time I click on links for these, they're always sold out. You see them listed at stupid money, 40, 50 quid. But obviously a lot more abundant in Japan. And it's just nice to have an original part that I need for the Astro City. And speaking of the Astro City, I do have some good news. So if you saw last week's vlog, you'll see that I've still not been able to get the marquee lit up. But I got the father-in-law around the other day, and he had one of them voltage testers, and I can confirm that it has got power going to it. So that's going to be a huge help, thinking that we haven't got to worry about getting power to it or anything like that. So I think what we're going to do now, probably on next week's vlog, is replace the existing fluorescent tube with an LED one. Now we know there's power. That should be relatively simple for him. It won't be simple for me. But yeah, that's a quick update on that. We'll get into that next week. Really, really happy to have that. A small key has made me very happy indeed, and we'll put that on there. But I don't know what this is. So like I say, I was only expecting the key, and then I've got what looks like a gift, and it says on the front, Google Translate is your friend. Ominous. I love how he's wrapped it. What is this? So that's, that's all I can see, what looks like yellow paper. Oh, hello. No way. Grant, what a guy. So he must have obviously got this in that consignment sent over from Japan, as I say. Let me open it for you so I can show you properly. Wow. So this, let's not pass the parcel. It is what looks like an original instruction manual for Sega Astro City. How cool is that? Now, obviously, it's going to be in Japanese, hence Google Translate is your friend. This is going to be invaluable, no doubt. But even if I didn't need this, even if this was working perfectly, just to have this with the machine, lost for words, man. This is something that I never thought I'd own. I wouldn't have even thought to like have this. Yeah, amazing, amazing, man. The people at the Ghetto Gang have done me proud. Yet again, massive shout out to both Steve-O and Grant. Yeah, real nice additions there. Right, okay. So with that, with more stuff added to the room and nowhere to put it, it's probably time to get another Billy built, right? But you guys don't need to watch me build another one, so... And with that done, I've got to do a bit more rearranging to get this in place. But whilst I'm doing that, I think we're long overdue. A Ghetto Gang game room tour.
What's up guys, Chris here, Retro Detroiter. Let's do a game room tour. Start off with the Sega Genesis area. We got the boxes for the console and the 32X. Get down to the games in my collection here. I have a JLCRT. And I have that paired with some custom shells for the NES, Super Nintendo, and Sega Genesis. I got some miscellaneous games up on the shelves over here. Some Sega Master System, 32X, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and GameCube. Just a couple titles here and there, a couple of Pokemon. I collect Game Boy in box. So I have the shelf here that I custom made that'll hold eventually every single North American title. I think I'm up to about 180 plus titles at the moment. Got 2 Japanese in box right there. This is the NES section. I have custom cases for the NES games. Let me show you one, like Little Samson. My middle shelf here are the consoles. I have the consoles hooked up to the projector in the middle here, playing Top Gear. For Super Nintendo and Nintendo 64, I'm starting to convert over from the custom cases to complete in box. So you see here, like Dracula X has a custom case. Chrono Trigger is complete in box. I mainly collect games that I either had growing up or ones that have always caught my eye. Collections aren't too big when it comes to Super Nintendo or N64. The same thing here, you can tell the difference between ones that I have it complete in box or have a custom case for. And up here I have all the controllers, Fantastic Colors, Atomic Purple, and the Extreme Green. Got my consoles boxes up there. Projector. My seating for the room. And that's it. That's the game room at the moment. It's been a work in progress, but I love it. Always adding to it, always upgrading. I still have a full shelf right there to add stuff to, so thanks for watching.
Massive shout out to Retro Detroiter for sharing that game room with us. I love that there's quite a strong American contingent within the Ghetto gang and on the Discord. It's always nice to see just collections from different parts of the world, NTSC libraries, and it's also nice to have people that can help you out getting things from stateside as well. So yeah, once again, thank you. If you do want to get involved with the Ghetto Gang, the Discord, or you want to show off your room on Ghetto Gang Games Rooms, there'll be a link to join below. But I've been busy. It's actually the next day. I've been sort of like moving a few things around and just doing a lot of head scratching, thinking about how things are going to come together. So we're going to take a look at that shortly. But before we get into that, oh, my old man knees. I just want to take this time really to say that on this vlog, there's been a lot of talk of Williams and Billy's, and I am currently a week or so ahead of you guys. As I've mentioned, I'm trying to get ahead for a big project we've got coming up on the channel. I couldn't mention this many Billy's without talking about Billy from the Game Chasers. Very, very sad, the news of his passing. The Game Chasers are what got me into retro video game collecting on YouTube. I'm sure they did for a lot of you guys as well. That kind of opened the avenue for me. And during my early collecting and then stumbling upon YouTube channels such as theirs, there might not be a Retro Ghetto if it wasn't for the Game Chasers. You know, there really might not. That was arguably the most I've ever enjoyed any YouTube channel, full stop. When I first discovered their channel and I had like a back catalogue of, I don't know, 80 or so videos of theirs to binge, I watched every video of theirs twice up until that point. Obviously things change, people change, and like the game collecting scene changed. It became, I think, probably more difficult for those guys to make the content that they were making when they were finding Little Samson for a couple of dollars and all that kind of stuff. But some of those episodes, right, are in like folklore now for in retro video game collecting, and there genuinely might not be, like I say, myself on YouTube, and I'm sure a lot of other tubers that you guys know and watch today, if it wasn't for Jay and Billy. So I just want to say a huge, you know, RIP, shout out to Billy and everything that the Game Chasers did. Very, very sad news. I was actually lucky enough to have Jay on the channel early on. I reached out to him and he was happy to jump on and he helped me out with a video. And yeah, it just goes to show the testament of those guys. I was like, small channel, I'm sure he'd never heard of me. And he jumped on and helped me out. And yeah, just good people, amazing content. And it got me thinking, you know, it's, you know, that old saying of
treat every day like it's your last. A lot of us say it, but we don't really do it. I'm guilty of that myself. But I think, like, being a content creator, being on YouTube, these kind of things make you think that, you know, God forbid something should happen, you're kind of leaving some of yourself behind on these videos, right? And that's very true. God forbid if I got hit by a bus tomorrow, you know, my boys can watch hundreds, if not thousands of hours of me and hopefully get an idea of the person I am and, you know, all that kind of stuff. That's what I mean. When things like this happen, it does get you thinking. And yeah, I don't really think I've got a closing point to this. I'm just sort of thinking out loud, but I just wanted to pay my respects to Billy, the Game Chasers, the pioneers of this movement, right? So yeah, very, very sad thoughts with his friends and family. So last night I sort of got all these wires and stuff moved out the way so that I could put both the Williams in situ. Now, I just want to once again, right, reiterate, how good is this going to look? Oh, can you imagine when it's all full? Now, it takes me to my next point. I can't fit a half in there, I don't think, right? I don't know. Next week's vlog, we might have to reevaluate all of this. I don't know where the TV's ending up. I don't know if Kratos can go in that corner because since I started this new journey, the last couple of weeks of this new iteration of the room, I've just been visualizing this whole wall of Billy's, and I think I can fit another 1.5 in there. I'll have to remeasure it, but I'm pretty sure it's there or thereabouts. Squeeze 1.5 in, and I can't get it out of my mind how good it would look to have that whole run of Billy's. I mean, not only would it look amazing, but it would obviously massively future-proof me for my game collecting going forwards, especially when you think I've still got pretty much an empty or a half-empty half Billy behind the Astro City. So yeah, it gives us loads of space. The other thing to look at, because my last vlog, as you're watching this, has already gone live, and a couple of people mentioned about getting a chair, is tempting. Because if I had a nice big armchair in the middle of the room here, I could put the half Billies back, and then we'd have the half Billies here, we could still have all the full ones here, and I'd have my armchair in the middle. I'm not 100% sure yet if I want to sacrifice the two-seater. You know, a lot of what I hope to do with my collection as time goes on is enjoy it with my children. And yes, you can bring in a chair, you can go and get one from the main house or a kitchen stool or whatever, but I don't know, it doesn't quite feel the same. It's not as welcoming or as inviting to family and friends to come round as when you've got a two-seater permanent sofa right there. So yeah, there's definitely some amazing progress made, I think, this week. I think just looking at that gives you an idea once this is all clean, and I keep taking inspiration, right, from how good these shelves look here. If we can mimic that, but on an even bigger scale down here. And the thing is, we've already got the games to do it, right? We've already got the collection. Yeah, the hard part's done. I've amassed this stuff over the last decade. It's the fun bit of getting it in the shelves and walking into it. But also, I don't want to get rid of Kratos. I don't want to get rid of my big TV. Can everything fit? I don't know. But I'm happy with where we're at. But we've got some big decisions to make ahead of next week's vlog. But that is going to do it for this week's Ghetto vlog. There's not really that much else I can do in here until I've made those decisions. Because once I've locked in what I want to do, we can then go back to IKEA again and spend the whole week putting it into action. But I do think we've sort of laid the groundwork now. I think we're in a solid position. I've not got too much more manual labour in here to do. I've just got to make decisions. And hopefully on next week's vlog, the layout will be done, locked in, and we can start getting games on these shelves and genuinely making the room look better than ever. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this one. It might be a shorter vlog than usual just because a lot of this stuff takes a long time. There's a lot of stuff that doesn't get filmed. I don't think it'd be particularly interesting for you guys, but yeah, when you're trying to work in such a tight space as this and rearrange rooms, everything takes a long time. There's a lot of coming and froing to the house and back and moving things, conservatory backwards, forwards, blah, blah, blah. But I definitely think it's going to be worth it. There's not much doubt about that. But as always, make sure you keep it locked for post-credit gameplay. Massive, massive thank you for everyone that keeps watching the vlogs. Like, you guys, I've got no idea how much it means to me that you come on this journey with me every week, twice a week. If you're not already subscribed, please consider doing so. I think we're in a strange time with YouTube where I don't think being subscribed to a channel means as much as it used to, because You've got a homepage, right? And if you watch channels, you'll get suggested it, but it would help me out. So even if you get suggested my videos, if you watch them, just click the subscribe button. It really helps me out, and it helps to put me on like a different echelon and hopefully show the videos to more people. It's also a hype thing, apparently. I don't know what it does. If you want to press it, that might help me out. So yeah, do that. And if you really want to go the extra mile and get involved with myself, the fantastic community of people over on the Ghetto Gang Discord, there's of course a link below to join the Ghetto Gang. But yeah, I think that's everything. I think I'm going to sit here and probably stare at these walls for a few hours, think about what I want to do, and come next Sunday, yeah, let's get it locked in, right? But thank you very much. Play your games, keep it retro. Appreciate you. See you in a bit. Ow! Ow! Alright, post-credit gameplay is, of course, God of War 3. If you don't know, we're still trying to get the platinum. Now, as you can just see, I'm recovering from a game over. I thought this would be an interesting section to watch because I've died on this little segment about 3 or 4 times now. You know, I'm playing on Titan mode difficulty for that platinum. So, pretty much every segment that involves a few enemies is relatively difficult for someone of limited playing abilities, such as myself. Now, what I'm doing here is using the Head of Helios because that's one of the trophies I need to get. You have to use this to blind X amount of enemies to unlock a trophy. So whenever I start on like a segment like this, I always like to just open it up whilst it's relatively easy against the lower enemies by blinding as many as I can with the Head of Helios. It'll just help me down the line to get the trophy that I need. And as I say, I've died a few times on this segment because it does get quite difficult. We're going to encounter a Cyclops momentarily, and then after that there's a double Cyclops, and I haven't made it past that yet, so I don't know if there's anything more after that. I definitely don't want to be using that yet. My power up, save that. No, we don't want to use that. What I would say though is I'm thoroughly enjoying playing it on this difficulty because, like I say, this is one of my favourite games. I've played through this game probably 3 or 4 times. But playing it like this is it's just give a whole new like element to the game. I'm playing it so differently. I feel like I've got a better, more almost intimate relationship with the game because I'm having to strategize and play the game better. I've had to get good, right? So I definitely see the benefit in playing on these difficulty settings. This is where it starts to get a bit tough because you don't want that. You do not want that. You start getting hit by that, there's no way you're going to be able to beat it when 2 of these guys come out. Now, full disclosure, in terms of the platinum progress, I don't think we've unlocked a trophy since I last checked in with you guys. So we beat Hades, right? Since then, I've also just beat Hermes. So I've now got Hermes' sandals on. I've got that Nike Air Hermes on. So I can do like this little run dash thing, like that. Get out of the way. Oh! But yeah, we haven't actually unlocked another trophy yet. I'm just working my way towards that. Gotta go quiet here. Gotta get the quick time right. Do not want to mess this up. Right, so that's him gone. Yeah, so in terms of using a guide, there's no way I could have done a platinum trophy without it because I haven't been like reading it word for word, cover for cover or anything like that. I haven't been like reading up on every screen how to kill each enemy and blah blah blah. It's literally for the collectibles. So there's quite a lot of collectibles throughout the game. I'm going to start using some special moves now. Here we go. Get some of these guys taken out. Oh, no, no, no. I got carried away. Ah, that's what happens, right? Ah, and then you die and you have to do the whole thing again. Quick sip of Yorkshire, that's what we're missing. That's the problem at this level, this difficulty, right? If you start using power-ups and thinking you're invincible, you're actually not. And I live in a perpetual fear that I'm one day going to click yes and change the game to easy mode because I died too many times in one place. Thus, not getting the platinum trophy because I need to complete it on the mode that I'm on. Anyway, so I was saying, now we're back to the more easier enemies. I've been using the guide strictly for the collectibles, and there's no way I could have got the platinum without it, because the Prima guide that I've been using just sort of like gives you a map for each area and just shows you roughly where the collectibles are, and there is no way I would have found the collectibles just naturally playing through it. Even as an explorative gamer, which I am, I still like, you know, go through every inch of every room to try and find stuff. A lot of them are like hidden that you just never would have found without a guide, in my opinion. I don't know how people did it, like without using an internet guide or anything like that. But hopefully I haven't missed one, because otherwise I'm going to have to play through the game again. What I normally do when I'm playing these kind of games is just constantly save over my previous save data. But with this, I have decided I am going to just save. Every time there's a save point, I'm sort of... I don't want to be using this now, but I'm getting beat up by some poor enemies because I'm too busy talking. Yeah, normally save over my save date, but on this game, every time I reach a save point, I'm creating a new save just in case I have to go back, in case I miss something, in case I do something wrong. Because the other day, I was telling the guys on the Discord, I lost about a whole night's worth of gaming, about 2.5 hours, because I missed a collectible and had to go right the way back, and I had to reload the game because, yeah, I don't want to have to do the whole game again to unlock the trophy if I can help it. Right, let's try and concentrate a bit more now. And whilst we're taking out this one guy before it gets real difficult... Oh, that was close. I just want to ask you guys what you think about post-credit gameplay. Because I had a couple of people recently in the comments say, oh, why don't you record gameplay? And you guys will know I do record certain things. You'll see it on the channel. Me recording certain segments of gameplay. But I always thought I liked the intimacy of doing it like this. Oh, I'm dead. I'm dead. I am absolutely dead. It just feels a bit more like, you know, we're just mates hanging out, playing the game together when I do it like this, right? Record the screen, as opposed to recording gameplay. Oh, I'm dead again. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking on this next run. But I just want to finish by saying I did do a poll on my Discord. And quite overwhelmingly, to my surprise, about 72% of people said they preferred this style of post-credit gameplay as opposed to screen recording it. I don't know, I guess the fact I can gesticulate with my hands and, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's what people enjoy about it. But I'd love to know in the comments what you think. Do you enjoy me recording directly from a screen, or would you rather see me do like proper screen capture? Let me know down below. But right, this time we're going to go a bit quiet, right? We're going to go Ghost. We're going to go Ghost of Sparta. Because I've got to play better. Since I've been recording, I've done worse than all the previous attempts, which I've also failed at, so clearly we've got to do something different. Right, that's them done. First Cyclops. If we can get this guy out without taking any damage, we might be alright. Keep your distance. Pick your attacks wisely, that's it. Oof. God, if you could see me behind the screen, I'm ducking and weaving. I'm looking like Manny Pacquiao behind. Oh, that was close. Oof. No, that was risky. Oh, we're lucky. I deserve to get hit there.
Come on then. That's it, come on. Right, we'll take that. And do you know what? I've played the vast majority of this on the PS Portal, and it's worked flawlessly. Really been enjoying the Portal. Right, okay, now it's time to knuckle down. It's time to go Ghost again. Don't really have a technique. Try not to get hit would be a good start. Right, let's just go in then now. Get out of there, get out of there. Woo! So use a bit of that, use a bit of magic. Yes, one's down, one's down. Go and get him. Get him. Yes. Come on. Come on. Yes. No, no, you can't be taking shots like that. I thought I was out of range. I thought I was out of range. Right, get out of range. Ooh. Where is he? I can't see him. Is it just me and him? Yes, yes, come on. Is that it or is there another round? Please be it. Go on. Open the door, open the door, open the door, open the door. Yes! We'll take that. Woo! I think there's a chest down here now the game's opened up again. Yep, can replenish my health. So on the way in I didn't need this chest. But on the way out, I certainly do. Was it a magic chest? Alright, we'll take it. Alright guys, let me know what you thought. A couple of people on the Discord said to me, like, after watching last week's gameplay, that they decided to jump into God of War 3, and my response was, what's taking you so long? For me, one of the best games ever made. And it's just the little differences with the remaster as well. Like, when you have the Blades of Chaos, the controller looks like this. When you switch it to the Hades, it goes pink, and then there's other weapons that go blue. I don't know, it's just little things that I love. I adore this game, one of my favourites of all time. So my point being is, if you haven't played it and you're thinking about it, just do it. Get it done. Play the remastered version on the PS4 or 5. And yeah, let me know your thoughts. But as always, thank you very much for taking the time to watch. If you've watched to this point in the vlog, let me know down below by saying Ghetto Kratos. Ghetto Kratos. There's the man himself. Appreciate it. In a bit.